I don't believe in free will.
Okay.
But I live my life as if there is free will, because I recognize that in a moment-to-moment reality, it feels as if there is free will. But when I take the time to sit back and really think about it, I usually come to the conclusion that it is actually illogical to believe in free will. However, so I think that it influences me on a subconscious level. But in terms, it's not like I sit around being like, oh, no free will, so I'll just make no decisions today or something like that. Like, live my life like a normal person. But I do think, at the end of the day, that eventually science will prove that, if they haven't already.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And could I get a sense of your confidence that there is no free will, say, on a scale from 0 to 100? It's not real?
I mean, I don't know. That's a tough question, because I'm confident in it, but I would never say that I don't think you can be 100% confident either way. So I would say I'm confident in it in terms of a number. I don't know, but I'm confident in it. However, I am open to reversing that belief if some sort of scientific.
Is it nearer to like the 100? Is it like a 99 or is it like a 50?
No, it's probably like an 85.
Like an 85.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. And what gets you to such high confidence? What are the main reasons why?
Well, I think there's two ways to look at it. One would be, and this is usually how most people look at it, but one would be that, like, the most basic. See, okay, I know I'm babbling, but the thing that causes me pause is that there's a lot of contradictions in, like, in the belief in free will. So I think, like, there either is free will or there is not, meaning everyone has free will or no one has free will. Now, if you look at, like, the justice system, if you can say, like, someone is crazy and therefore they're not in control of their actions, you're essentially saying that person doesn't have the free will to exist. So he or she is absolved potentially from this crime or something like that. But regular, quote unquote, regular humans do. That doesn't make sense to me. Or something like, homosexuality, which I think is great. And, I'm a progressive in that sense, but it's like, I would agree that, yeah, you're born, with the color of your hair, the color of your skin, how tall you're going to be, if you're gay, if you're straight. So if you're born with these, so if you don't decide these basic proponents of your identity, and that obviously influences every decision you make, as trivial as lifting up this, this water bottle to where you want to live or what career you want to pursue, then why would we assume that other decisions are up to us? Do you know what I'm saying? If I sort of babble, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
but
so just to repeat back what I'm hearing you say to make sure I'm getting it. You're saying, I think, that, like, for example, if someone had like a tumor and they committed a crime, we wouldn't punish them in the same way a normal person would be punished.
Right.
And in that sense, maybe it's kind of like tumors all the way down.
Yeah, in the sense of, like, again, I'm not saying we should punish that person. It's not about the judge, but I'm saying, like, that's a contradiction in terms of philosophically for me. Like, we're saying that because at the end of the day, they're both human brains, right? One has a tumor, one doesn't. But to say that in this specific person, the tumor is in charge, and that tumor is separate from him or her, and this person, the brain, is in charge. Do you know what I'm saying? It just gets muddled to me. It's like, well, yeah, the person with the brain tumor isn't in charge, just like I'm not, and people who don't have brain tumors. So yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And this reason about how we're ultimately not in control of what we think and do, that's the main reason why you hold that it's not true?
No, that's one way of looking at it. I think another, that's the more sort of like deductible like way of looking at it, but I would also look at it like, to me, it's just what else can be true, what else makes sense. I think
what, like, you're 85% that it's not true, what would you have to learn or find out to make you go down to 50? What would make you less confident? What would you have to find out?
I mean, I think it would just have to be some sort of scientific experiment, and there have been some scientific experiments that actually have fallen on the scale of not being free will, like scientists being able to predict what, if you're going to choose the black chip or the red chip a second before you can if your like brain is hooked up to some electromagnetic and blah 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 blah. So something like that, and more extensive that would show otherwise would maybe make me doubt it a little bit more.
Okay.
I also think though that yeah.
Okay, so more scientific evidence.
Scientific evidence would probably help it. Probably, and I know a lot of people use sort of like the micro what's the term? What's the category? Like not the macro science, but the micro. What is that? The little things of atoms and.
I'm not sure.
Like the fact that you can't accurately predict where.
Quantum
mechanics.
Quantum
So
mechanics?
quantum mechanics people sometimes cite as evidence for there being free will that you couldn't. There's you can say with 80% certainty this atom's going to be here, but it's only 80% certainty sort of a thing.
Yeah.
But to me, that breaks down in the sense that, but basically you're saying there's 5 places this atom could be. It has a, 2/3 chance to be here, this chance to be there, that chance to be there. But we're only left with these 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why these 5? Why these 5 places and not 5 other places? You know what I'm saying? So to me, it can be skewed either way, I guess, but I could still see flaws in that.
Yeah, so adding some roll of the dice is not changing the
right, because if you're
fact of
adding roll of the dice, I get why that can support the idea of free will, but if it's roll of the dice in a limited within this framework, so yes, it's a roll of the dice, but within this square and no possible outcome outside of that square, well then where's the free will in that? Also, another thing would be a lot of people would say oh yeah, well animals don't have free will. Okay, cool. But humans do? Why? Why are we different in that sense? Do you know what I'm saying? It seems to me to be sort of an egoic idea to think that we are. It's like an arrogant idea, in my opinion, to think that we are in charge. I also want to stress, though, that a lot of times people will hear that and be like, oh, that's very depressing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like personal responsibility might go out the window.
Sure, and I understand that. I actually find it... I don't find it depressing at all. I think that sometimes people confuse fatalism with determinism. So just because it's not up to you doesn't mean that therefore you should be sad. Or sometimes people will say things like, well, I guess I'll just stay at home all day and just stare at the wall. Okay, cool.
But that's also not...
It's not up to you, and also go ahead and try it. How long will you stare at the wall? Probably not long. You're going to get up, you're going to eat something, you're going to take a shit, you're going to leave, you're going to do something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess my point is it doesn't actually change your moment-to-moment reality, in my experience. Maybe on a subconscious level, like you say, personal responsibility or something like that. But I certainly don't condone, I wouldn't say this person committed a violent crime, but hey, no one has free will, so he or she should... No, of course not. But,
And talking about the justice system, it seems to... If everyone bought into this... retributive justice, punishment
makes no sense, right?
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. So that's how I would see it, playing a role in politics or in society. Yes, people who are dangerous should be separated from greater society, regardless of free will, because that makes sense for the safeties of others. But
But at the same time, we can remove tumors,
right?
And we can change people if through some type of program or some type of thing.
Right.
It's not intrinsic to them.
Right.
So we could do stuff like that.
Exactly. So the idea of that, like you say, that sort of revenge, it just makes no sense. Yeah.
Gotcha. Sweet. So anything else about this, George?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, it's such a big topic, and so anyone watching or listening, I would say I'm certainly not the most articulate to defend the belief in no free will. If you are interested in, that topic, or you are interested on that side of the argument, I would say Google a guy named Sam Harris. He's very smart and articulate about it, and he also is a proponent of it. And he's not, dogmatic about it or preachy or anything like that. But so yeah, he's smarter than me, so watch him talk about it.
Great. Cool.
All right.
Thanks so much for the conversation.
What was your name again?
Reed.
Reed. Appreciate it, Reed.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
See you.